This video will be looking at percentages. We will be relating them to common fractions, which were looked at in a previous video. 1% means 1/100th, so it's a fraction 1/100th. 5%, which is 5 out of 100, would simplify to 1/20th. 10%, which is 10 out of 100, would simplify to 1/10th. 20%, 20 out of 100, would simplify to 1/5. 25% to 1/4. 33 1/3% to 1/3. 50% to 1/2. 66 2/3% to 2/3. And 75% to 3/4. So when we're asked to find these percentages of a quantity, we can use the common fractions in red as a replacement. So for example, if you're asked to find 75% of £60, 75% is 3/4. That simply becomes 3/4 of £60. So these common percentages here can be replaced by these fractions, and the calculations will be made easier. So these will be without a calculator. If you want 3/4, you divide by 4 and multiply by 3, divide by the bottom number and multiply by the top. So £60, you divide it by 4 to give you £15, and then you multiply that £15 by 3. That's got 3/4, which is 75%. So 75% of £60 is £45. Here, 66 2/3% of £4.80. 66 2/3% can be replaced by 2/3. So you want 2/3 of £4.80. That means divide £4.80 by 3. Take that answer and multiply it by 2. So there's £4.80 divided by 3. Double it up. £3.20 is 66 2/3% of £4.80. So by replacing these percentages with the common fractions here, it makes the calculations straightforward. Doesn't require a calculator. So this is for non-calculator work. Second method is based around 10% being 1/10th. So if you want 10%, divide by 10. And then you can multiply up the 10% for whatever percent you're after. In this case, we're after 35%. We can get 10%, divide by 10. Then we can get 30%, which is 3 lots of 10%, so 3 times that £24. For 5%, it's half of 10%, so you can half that £24. We've now got what 30% is, and we've got what 5% is. We just add these together, and that tells us what 35% is, £84. So it was 3 lots of 10%, half of 10%, and add the two parts together. If I was asked 4% of 250 kilograms, find 1%, that's 100th. Divide by 100, 2.5, and multiply by 4. 4 lots of 2.5, which is 10 kilograms. And that's found 4% of 250 kilograms is 10 kilograms. So that's based around 10% and 1%. If you click the link in the description, you get access to this worksheet, which will have answers with it, finding things like 30%, let's get 10% multiplied by 3, or 35%, as we just looked at in the example, get 10%, then 3 times that for 30%, and half of it for 5%, and add the parts together. One of the applications of simple percentages is interest in a bank, where you don't keep the money in for a full year. So, for example, if you invest £12,000 here, this 6% PA means 6% per annum, per year. At the end of the year, you get 6% of your money added as interest. However, it's only kept in the bank for 8 months, so you don't get a full year's interest. So what you do here is you find a year's interest, 6%, that means get 1%, knock off 2 zeros as you divide by 100, and times by 6. So for 1 year, 6% divide by 100, multiply by 6, it'll come to £720. That's for a full year. You want 8 months, find out 1 month, divide by 12, and then multiply that answer by 8. So 720 divided by 12, that goes in 60 times, multiplied by 8 gives you 480. And that's 8 months interest. Again, if you click the link in the description, there's a worksheet on this. All the figures are worked out so that you don't need a calculator. In fact, a lot of it can be done mentally. The bank interest for a year should work out something that easily divides by 12. So the worksheet, 10 questions, simple interest for a number of months, and the answers will come with the worksheet if you click the link in the description. So the answers will be there. Final stage in this video is expressing a change as a percentage. So here, for example, a car was bought for £15,000. It depreciates in value to £12,000, so it's lost £3,000 out of the original £15,000. So it's a £3,000 loss, but as a percentage loss, this is what you do. You put the loss, £3,000, over the start value, which was 15,000. It lost 3,000 out of 15,000, and to turn that fraction into a percent, you multiply by 100. So it's that whatever it changed by, in this case £3,000, doesn't matter whether it went up or down 3,000, and what it started out at, at 15,000. So actual loss, or the actual change, was 3,000. It was 3,000 out of 15,000. That's the fraction, 3,000 out of 15,000, and that fraction gets turned into a percentage by multiplying by 100. This is non-calculator. You can score off 3 zeros in the top and 3 zeros in the bottom, and it's 3/15. 3/15 is 1/5. 1/5 of 100% is 20%. So it can be done without a calculator. On a calculator, it would be 3,000 divided by 15,000 times 100, and that would come 20%. So percent change is the actual change over what it started out as. It wouldn't matter if it went up 3,000 or down 3,000. If this had gone from 15,000 up to 18,000, these calculations would just be the same. Be a 3,000 change out of 15,000. So it doesn't matter whether it goes 20% up or 20% down. The calculation is the same. So here's a second example. Shopping in 2005 cost £125. In 2006, the same stuff cost £128. It changed by £3. Happened to go £3 up. It started out at 125. So you put the £3 change, in this case a £3 increase, over the start figure of 125. On the calculator, 3 divided by 125, multiplying 100. Without a calculator, 25 goes into 100 4 times, and 25 goes into 125 5 times, so that could cancel down to 4, and that to 5, and it'd be 3 times 4 over 5, 12 over 5, which is 24 over 10. That's 24 divided by 10 is 2.4. So it can be done without a calculator, with a wee bit working. Again, if you click the link in the description, there's a worksheet with answers. There's an increase here from 200 to 208, so you express that £8 increase as a fraction of £200 to get the percent increase. Again, it'll have answers with it, and there are 15 questions. So the worksheet on percentages, that's the first worksheet, and it'll have answers with it. A lot of these were mental calculations, especially at the start, or with just a little working in other cases. And there's a simple interest, and there's a percent change, percent increase, decrease. That's the worksheet you just seen. Again, it'll have answers with it. So that's the first video. The second video will be on, again, percentage increase and decrease, looking at percentage change, but on things like, as here, compound interest. So the next video will involve appreciation, depreciation, compound interest and things like that, and reversing percentage increases. There's a set of notes on all the number work. So it's covered decimals, it's covered significant figures and scientific notation and fractions, and that's percentages. We've covered the simple percentages and the percent change. The next video is on compound interest and things like that. Hope you found the video useful.